Hi guys, it's Bella. I'm standing here at Esports World Cup for PUBG. Today's the first media day. I'm going to see if I can grab some players and get a little chat out of them before the tournament begins. So let's go and see who is here. Hey guys, I found Team Falcon's Kickstart. How are you, Kick?
I'm doing good.
How are you feeling coming as the defending champions here at EWC?
Feels good. I think it's good for the confidence just knowing we won last year. But other than that, it's a new set of games and something new to focus on.
Well, speaking of something to focus on, I mean, I feel like the pressure is there for the Falcons, especially with the club championship on the line. What do you have to say to that?
I mean, we want to win for Falcons, but also we want to win for ourselves, and that's our main priority is, you know, lifting the trophy. And it would be amazing to win the club championship as well, though.
All right, keep your eyes on the prize and good luck to Team Falcons. Look who I found in the makeup room, Twisted Minds Perfectix. Hey, good to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hello.
Well, with this year, Twisted Minds is probably hoping for a different result at EWC, right? Well, how's the team feeling?
Yeah, last year was better than this, but we are confident and we are preparing a lot to EWC, and I think we are ready.
You're ready? Did you get some sleep today?
Yes. Me yes, but my teammates came at 3 a.m. and they didn't sleep.
Well, we still have a couple of days to catch up on the sleep, and best of luck to you here at EWC. Look who I found, the Vietnamese Dream Team AGAL, and oh my goodness, who do I talk to first? Well, Himas, how are you feeling? How was the flight over?
Himas ơi, mình đang cảm thấy như thế nào? Chuyến bay vừa rồi như thế nào?
Chuyến bay vừa rồi bão táp lắm, mệt lắm.
The flight was super stormy to me, and I'm very tired.
Maybe the start is rocky, but it'll get better. Okay, well, Taikon, good to see you again. Haven't seen you in a while. Well, how's the team synergy like with all the powerhouses here and the new rookie faces joining the team?
Tài ơi, rất là vui được gặp lại em ha. Thì hiện tại là mình đang có những cái thành viên mà mình đã chơi chung trước đấy, giống như là anh Himas đi. Thì cái tinh thần đồng đội hiện tại như thế nào?
Em nghĩ sau chuyến bay rồi tinh thần đội cũng đi lên lắm á.
I think that after the flight, our synergy will go up definitely.
Oh, it's going up?
Yes.
All right, that's good. And I had a quick question. Is this hair a coincidence? Did you guys plan it?
Tóc này là mọi người có kế hoạch là mình nhận chung hay sao?
Bên đội vừa rồi thấy em mới kinh quá, nó bắt trước em á. Dạ, anh nói cho nghe vậy ạ.
So Himas said that like, since Taikon observed me that I'm shooting too, like aggressively, so he planned it, to have the same hair.
Oh, it's to become more like Himas. All right, well, good luck to AGAL. Thank you for the interview.
Okay, chúc mừng nha. May mắn.
Look who I ran into, the pink-haired mascot of TDT team. Hello, good to see you, Hong. How are you? Well, first time in Riyadh, first EWC for you. How's it been like?
Hello Hoàng, rất vui được gặp bạn. Đây là mùa giải đầu tiên EWC dành cho bạn, thì bạn đang cảm thấy như thế nào ở Riyadh?
Đây là lần đầu tiên mà em tham dự, nên là em thấy rất vui. Cũng giống như đợt ở bên này.
This is the first time that I'm in Riyadh, so I'm very excited at the same time, a bit nervous.
A bit nervous. Well, how's the team energy like? What is the goal for the team, may I ask?
Không biết là team của mình đó là cái tinh thần đồng đội như thế nào, cũng như là cái mục tiêu năm nay cho cái mùa giải này là gì?
Bọn em lúc nào cũng sống chết có nhau, nên là bọn em sẽ tự tin về mặt đồng đội khá nhiều ấy, nên nếu mà mục tiêu của bọn em thì tốt càng cao càng tốt.
So our synergy is to the death tears us apart, and also for this year, our goal is to reach as high as possible. Yeah.
All right, love that. Maybe climb it one at a time, and then in the end, you'll take the trophy. All right. Well, Hong, another question I wanted to ask: Do you have your eyes on any other teams?
Không biết là mình đang để mắt tới cái đồng đội khác của trong mùa giải này hay không? Đấu
là tới
tức là đúng rồi, tức là mình sẽ coi là đối thủ của mình để mắt tới đối thủ khác.
Em không để ra, đối với em thì ai cũng như nhau, nên là em với đồng đội sẽ cố gắng làm tốt.
To be honest, I don't have my eyes on any team at the moment because to me, each team has their own strength. So I'm just focusing on my team right now.
All right, one step at a time. Good luck to TDT Wang. Thank you. Look who I found wandering in the lobby. It's Akeleft. All right, Akeleft, good to see you. How are you? How's Riyadh once again?
首先很高兴再次能见到你，就是这次来到利雅得感受如何呢？
其实已经来利雅得很多次了吧，就感觉其实还是蛮熟悉的，因为都是住一样的酒店嘛，还是挺开心吧。
It's great to be here. This isn't my first rodeo here in Riyadh. I've been here many times, staying in the same hotel, so it's very much familiar grounds for me.
Familiar must be a good sign for you to take the trophy this year. Last year you came a little bit short. How confident are you to taking that trophy this year?
就是这次呢，来到电竞世界杯，去年呢你拿了一个亚军，今年你觉得你夺冠希望有多大呢？
夺冠希望这不好说，这 PUBG 这个游戏，只是希望就是能比去年再进步一点点吧。
It's hard to say with a game like PUBG because, you know, luck plays a pretty big factor and a lot of variables in there. But I do hope that we can, you know, improve a little bit more from last year.
Speaking of luck, is this new hairstyle your luck charm?
这次就是说到运气呢，这次你的新发型是不是就为了促进这个运气这部分呢？
也不是吧，就是我回去剪头，我理发师跟我说，就是我之前那个头型很久了嘛，可以换个新的。那我说正好，那就看你的操作了。
Well, I went to a hairdresser and he says that, you know, you've kept your previous hairstyle for a very long time. You know, it's time for a change. He's like, all right, say less, do, just like, you know, do your thing.
Oh, do your thing. Okay, switching it up. I love that. Well, good luck to you, Akeleft. All right, thank you again. Poof, and who is next to me? It's Toyo Team's Capitan. Capitan, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
It's your first time here at EWC, right?
Not really, it's my second time. The first one was in 2023, but the name was changed. Plus I don't remember really. Plus the game is 8.
Game is 8, and how are you feeling with your team now coming in under a new org? Are you feeling very excited?
Yeah. We are very excited. We want to play now, really. I think we really want to win this tournament, so really a good expectation for us.
All right, love the enthusiasm. Good luck to you for the remaining week. Well, that is a wrap for Media Day here at PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 2025. We heard what the players said, what their mindset is going to be like, so I can't wait to see them on the stage. So let's get some PUBG here going at EWC. Let's go!
No competition is as ruthless as the Esports World Cup. Its trophy system is no exception. The Club Championship Trophy, awarded to the one club that rose above the rest and reigned supreme across all EWC games. The Game Trophy, when a competitor closes their eyes, it's all they see, and it's not complete until it's sealed with a champion's key. Every participant earns a key engraved with their name. That's their right to compete. This year, returning champions hold a key unlike any other. Only one can place their key into the Game Trophy and become an EWC champion. The frame of the champion's key is embedded into the totem, a stone marker of legacy displaying every champion of the year. The keys of the eliminated will be crushed. The champions select 3 broken keys as a personal token, a reminder of who they have humbled. Beneath the totem, a resin block holds the remaining keys, a graveyard of fallen contenders. Will your dreams be broken or your name carved in gold and stone? At EWC, nothing is granted, everything is earned.
We're here, it's time for PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC, and it is going to be an absolute battle.
It's a belt buckle.
It's always the belt buckle.
It always is, but yeah, no, you're right. There's a 2-time defending champion for EWC here, but they're going to have to work very hard to reclaim that crown, Thomas.
It's going to be a tall order because we have 24 of the best teams from around the world here to earn their spot, lift that trophy, and maybe secure the club championship. Guys, it's time for PUBG.
and welcome to the Esports World Cup PUBG Battlegrounds. We have had 5 weeks of amazing action, but there are still 2 weeks left, and we've got 4 games that are going on right now that are massively important. PUBG Battlegrounds, of course, Teamfight Tactics, Tekken, as well as having Rocket League. There is a ton of action still left on the table, guys.
Yeah, but of course, it is about PUBG Battlegrounds. We have 5 days of action for you guys, 3 of that being the group stage, 2 of that being the finals, 6 games, 12-game finals to finally see if the Falcons can be the 3P winners or if we're going to crown a new champion. That being said, if you're unfamiliar with the format or you're just tuning in, we have a quick explainer for you to show how everything's going to go down.
PUBG Battlegrounds is returning to Riyadh with 24 top teams heading to the 2025 Esports World Cup. 8 have been invited based on the global power rankings, whilst the remaining 16 teams had to battle it out through the qualifiers to earn a spot at the Esports World Cup. From August 12th to the 16th, these squads will battle it out to become the Esports World Cup champions across 2 stages of competition that will determine who is the best of the best. Things get started with the group stage on August the 12th. 24 teams will be split across 3 groups of 8. 2 groups will play against each other on each day of the group stage, with each team playing a total of 12 maps across 2 days. The 16 teams with the most points at the end of the group stage will qualify directly to the finals, with the remaining 8 teams being eliminated. On August the 15th, the grand finals kicks off. 12 matches will determine who walks away victorious and who goes home disappointed. The team with the most points after all 12 games have been played will be crowned the Esports World Cup champions. With almost $1.8 million prize pool and valuable club championship points on the line, teams will be giving it their all on the Battlegrounds, so you don't want to miss out on any of the action.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Qiddiya Esports Arena. I'm Toby, joined by Porosaurus, and we are in for an insane amount of games here for the PUBG Battlegrounds tournament. We're stood in front of the key wall where dreams will be made and keys will be crushed.
Will be crushed indeed. There's a lot of money on the line, $2 million in fact. And not even that, there's also $10K on the line for the MVP. There's also potential club championship points. So much at stake here today, and so much at stake this weekend. Especially with the rest of the PUBG calendar coming up too. It's a lot of stuff on the line here.
We're in for a great time, and to explain to you exactly how the club championship works, we have a video prepared for all of you.
This is the Esports World Cup Club Championship, the ultimate cross-game competition that will crown the best esports club in the world. Let's break down how it works. Clubs will be able to compete at the Esports World Cup and as many titles as they can qualify for. The clubs will then earn points based on their placement in each title. To qualify for the club championship, a club will need a top 8 placement in at least 2 competitions. But to win the championship, a club must place first in at least 1 competition. At the end of the Esports World Cup, the 24 clubs with the highest number of points will earn a share of the $27 million, with the winner taking home a staggering $7 million, and of course, the title of the best esports club in the world. Who will rise above and write their place in history? Watch it all here at the Esports World Cup.
Hi guys, it's Bella and Paper Thin here to give you a little STC Club Championship update. We had week 5 and the race is still wide open. Well, week 6 starts today and we have 4 games in the run.
Absolutely, and there are 5 teams right now that are really in contention for that club championship. You have Team Liquid, Team Falcons, Team Vitality, Virtus Pro, and Twisted Minds all in the hunt.
Yeah, and well, Team Liquid overtook their spot on the top with their EAFC win, and that was just an amazing game to watch.
Absolutely, but PUBG is going to be a real turning point here at EWC 2025, especially for Virtus Pro, who needs a win so they can qualify for the club championship. It's really important for them to do well here in PUBG.
And another team that we have to have our eyes on is Team Falcons. We have a solid PUBG team here, so who knows, they might take their spot again.
No doubt, they're the defending champions.
And well, we are done here, so we're going to send it over to the studio.
In one of the harshest conditions on Earth, we now have one team that will rise out of 24. Which team will be forged by flames as we determine who is going to become our champion here at PUBG at the Esports World Cup. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kalaris, bringing you all of the action that's going to be going on throughout the next couple of days. And joining me to my left-hand side to get things going, we have Avenger, as always. We have Toffees, as always. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend. He spent a year in Greece reloading an M249 and he was able to reload it 4 times. He is the 2-time animal. He is Godspeed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. A fantastic intro.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's nice to be on a desk for once.
I said to say couch.
Yes. We're going to have a good time here. We are going to have a good time with all of the games going down. It's one of the best fixtures on the calendar. That is for sure, Avenger. I'm excited.
Yeah, last year was absolutely insane. We had some of the craziest games we've seen in a long while. And here we're back. All the players have been talking about it for so long now, right? And yeah, they're back to prove who's the best.
It's going to be good, Toffees.
I think it's good, and I think it's awesome that we still have the club race going on, right? The fact last year when we got here, it was kind of over, and so the guys were just playing for themselves. But a lot of guys are playing for their brands as well, and I think that added pressure is going to make it a very, very intense competition.
Definitely. Let's take a look at the teams that are going to be participating throughout all of the festivities that are going down here. We have 24 excellent teams across the board. We are blessed in PUBG with the fact that every single region can compete. Godspeed. The 24 teams across this, of course, A versus B playing today.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this lobby, every time we have a lobby for EWC, you're like, oh, this is the strongest lobby, this is the strongest lobby. The strength of this lobby, especially, I mean, going into groups, right? We have groups now, we have 3 different days, only a 2-day final, but even still, I feel like every region is very well represented, and I think this is going to be a crazy event.
And here's the thing. I'd say we would look at this normally and be like, well, there's a group of death, but I think this is going to just be a wild group stages, because across the board, the spread... We would look at this normally and be like, well, there's a group of death, but I think this is going to just be a wild group stages, because across the board, the spread is erratic in some ways. We've got a lot of teams that are unexpected that I don't really know what they're going to do out there, and we also have a lot of really experienced pros spread throughout those lobbies as well, so it should be good to watch no matter how you slice it.
At the same time, though, we're going to have all of our teams arriving as well. The Jamil Motorsports arrival for these teams to get them on the stage and prepared. You can see them all entering at the moment here. They know what is at stake. As mentioned prior here, Avenger, $1.8 million almost on the line for the prize pool. All of these players look forward to this tournament all year round.
Yeah, it's the biggest one. They all want to come here. They all want to come here and win. And what makes it more exciting, obviously, is, as we talked about, we have so many teams that are playing PUBG as well that are competing at the very top for the club championship.
And not only are they at their top, they have everything they need here to play at their best, right? Whether it's training rooms, whether it's catering, whether it's the cars, whether it's the hotel, they will tell you across the board, this is the event that sets them up to play their best. And I think that's what we're going to see, is the best PUBG that any of these teams have put up all year.
And one team, of course, looking for some expertise, some excellence here is, of course, Team Falcons, our club championship winners prior. And now, with this roster, who has been able to be successful in Riyadh many a time here, Godspeed, they are looking for not only big prize pool, but big championship points.
Absolutely, and I talked to Tig actually at PNC, and he said, look, the only thing that we're focusing on pretty much all year, like the PGSs are great, but it's EWC. EWC is the focus, obviously the prize pool, and then the club championship, being able to win that for the Falcons. Yeah, it's huge.
Well, let's hear from Team Falcons coming in, as this is the roster defending their honor.
And I found a couch full of Team Falcons. Hi, guys. Hello. Oh, well, how are you guys feeling? How are you, Shremzy? How's your first day here?
That was a bit shambles, but we're here and we're excited and we're going to compete, so that's fun.
The usual for Team Falcons. Well, Kick, let me ask you, as the defending champion, the pressure is still there, but I heard there's even more pressure with the club championship on the line. What do you have to say to that?
There's definitely more pressure because we're on Falcons this year, and every win counts in every game. But for us, just another business day, another EWC to win.
Oh, okay. Well, Tig, do you have anything you would like to add?
Inshallah, we will win the trophy.
All right, good luck to Team Falcons.
Got to agree with Bella. Good luck to Team Falcons here. But again, when it comes to Riyadh, there is nothing but gold on this team's mind, Avenger.
Yeah, exactly. This team is just insane. This exact lineup has done it last year. The 3-man call did it 2 years ago. And obviously these guys here, it's their focus. I talked to Shrimsy and he's saying, we're the BO12 finals specialists and we're here to do it again.
I like that point. BO12 special finalists. The other thing I love about this team, Kickstart was added sort of after the Gamers 8 win, but everybody else, we're talking 2020. Like, we still talk about this team as one of the heaviest competitors in the world, and they have been doing it for 3-4 years. I mean, that is a long time to maintain this level.
Yeah, I think what's important as well, Godspeed, is PGS 7 and PGS 8, they didn't get victories there, but they were on podium every single time. They looked fantastic over in China.
Absolutely. They had back-to-back third places, which is a huge boost. Even though, Tig himself was like, again, we're just really focused on making sure EWC is the prize, and we're able to win that, but they were able to get back-to-back thirds. PGC was a little disappointing. I think they got 10th place, but overall, they've found consistency and only missed like one event last year.
Well, let's not play too light. I mean, there is the shadow of PGC, right? The fact that they don't make the grand finals will loom large over their entire year. So I do think this is a good chance for them to set that tone heading into PGC this year. Yes, we're back to back to back. Yes, we can go the distance. Yes, we are still the team that we have been sort of touted to be for so long. And I look forward to seeing them do that here.
That being said, they might have got third at PGS 8, but our winners of PGS 8 internationally, of course, was BB Team, and they're looking for even more gold here at the Esports World Cup.
Hey everyone, welcome to PUBG at the Esports World Cup. My name is Barney Banks and I've got Aduzi and Phil First here from BB Team and they're going to answer some questions. Guys, I feel like the biggest thing to first and foremost talk about is you guys were overdue a major LAN victory and you guys got it at PGS 8. So first of all, congratulations. I feel like this is the kicker, right? It can go one of two ways now. So in one way, it's like a weight off your shoulders now and you're like, oh, we've got that major LAN victory. Now we can get momentum going into the next tournament. Or you get added pressure to perform at every single event that you go into now because everyone's watching you as champions. Which way do you think it's going to go, Aduzi?
I think usually for everyone it's going to be add more pressure, but not for us because I already told to my boys like we have to forget it because it was like 3 months ago and it's we already celebrated. So this doesn't mean anything because everyone still keep playing, keep practicing, and we just have to think about new tournaments. When we're coming to the LAN tournaments, we're not expecting to win a tournament or like dreaming about the championship. We're just playing our game, doing what we practice at home, and like watching the result at the finish of the tournament. That's it.
Ice cold, I like it. Now, thinking about the next tournament, we're here. It's EWC. This is the next major event. Do you feel that the improvements that you guys have had over the past year, because let's face it, 14th place last year, EWC, it's not what you guys wanted, but now you're on a roll and you're performing really well. What do you think is the reason for all of this improvement for you guys as a team?
I think the key thing we changed the player. Because like a year ago here we was in different roster, we like had another player, so now with new player we feeling better. He's like fit our team pretty well.
Are there any teams that you feel like, oh, they could be pretty difficult if we run into them? I know you play them throughout the year, but who are you looking out for?
I think DNF from Korea, they actually just dominated the region. Top 5 of power ranking, like 17, Falcon, Twisted, they still, I think, good and gonna show some good results on EWC.
That has been BB Team. I'm Barney Banks. See you in the next one.
BB Team after international success here most recently, and of course, Avenger, I have always said this team is going to win at least 2 internationals. That's what this team is capable of.
I thought it was 1, but...
no, 2. I've always said 2.
But obviously these guys here, they're coming here and they're just focused, You can tell how cool, calm, collected these guys are. And it's their full focus just to see how it goes, play our game, focus on our strategies, and we're just going to come in there. And, a 4th into a 1st place at PGS, that's some insane this year level of performance.
So
Here's the thing, and I think you noticed this too, is when you talk about last year, EWC, PGC, not results they're going to be happy with, sub 10 every single time.
Yep.
They said it as well. You add Molodok to this roster, and all of a sudden we're looking at these 4s and these 1s. This team looks like maybe James is right. There is a super progression here.
What do you think about that?
Do you think James is right?
Look at me. You look like insane.
But I do think you're right. I think that changed Molodok, and the fact that it wasn't just a honeymoon phase, the fact that they are continuing to play well, tells me that do they win this one? I don't know that I'm willing to make that statement yet, but I think this is a top 6 performance.
I just think they're getting better and better as we go along.
Some people. You're not holding your mic to your face. Anyway, no. At the same time, people said that they played even better at 7 than they did at 8, but then won 8. But anyway, let's talk about what's coming up next as well, because we've got our Saudi National Bank head-to-head here between two teams that deserve the limelight. This is an exciting one, boys, because the Expendables are current PGC champions and now back on LAN. Not only do we have Himas, but the majority of that Cerberus roster, they're here with All Gamers Global here, Martin. And Vietnam across the board is looking fantastic in 2025.
Yeah, just coming off the PNC Championship as well, with 2 of the players on Expendables coming in there. The IGL coming in, Delwyn, of course. Tanu was at PNC, one of the most insane performances I've ever seen. In 12 games, he had 36 kills. He dropped an average of 3 kills per game. He had a 50 total in 18 games. There's just some insane performance of this. And Vietnam's coming in to prove us why they're such a strong nation right now.
Obviously, Godspeed the Lanimal himself, he was covering PNC. And I think that when you look at the progression of Vietnam as a whole, it's not just the fact that they've leveled up, it's also that they look like they have fun whilst doing it. They're crazy.
That's the crazy thing, is they're so dangerous, especially when they're having fun. And I think overall, like the last couple of years, just looking at Southeast Asia, right? You also include, you have Vietnam, you have Thailand as well, having very big successes overall. I think this region is very dangerous. And the crazy thing is, like, looking at PNC before going in, Vietnam with different rosters throughout the years never failed to get less than 4th, which is absolutely mind-blowing with the completely different rosters.
I agree. And I think it's so cool that Vietnam's getting a head-to-head, right? Like, that speaks to the region. But I got to give some love to Expendables. They are the PGC champions. I think a lot of people, when it happened, were like, well, it was a weird PGC, right? Like, how much can we put into this? But you cannot argue the glories of glories. When this guy joined the roster, there was a big pivot. They start performing well. Even at the PGSs, yes, they didn't win. They played less than I would expect a PGC champion to play. But still, those performance numbers, they are good. They could still will put up a very good showing.
We rarely highlight individual players in our openings, but how excited are you to finally have Himas back on a proper LAN stage?
I mean, it's just, this guy's been an animal, right? And then what we've seen from him online in the qualifiers throughout the year, and it's just, this guy, what he did in PNC as well with the guys, obviously, it's just next level. He's such a good player. I would argue he's like up there in the GOAT category at the moment. Not right there in number 1 just yet, but he is definitely in there in the discussion.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think they're hungry as well after missing PGS 7 and 8.
I think so.
They are starving to get this LAN going, and more importantly, to win, especially coming off of a PNC.
Well, let's take a look at where all you guys have kind of ranked some of these teams, right? This is the Aramco Power Rankings coming into day number 1, and this is our kind of thoughts for who is going to do well, who's going to try and take the championship here, Toffees, and who's going to be able to make waves. There's some obvious names in there in some of these categories.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very obvious. When you look at the Freaks, you look at the back-to-back-to-back Falcons, yeah, there was a different name. It was the Sonics at one point, but it's essentially the same roster, the same system. Then you get BB Team, who obviously won 8, easy favorite to put up there, and 17, who I think is kind of the one we argued about a little bit to put up here, but they have just had so much consistency since the day they were born into PUBG. It's hard not to consider them a favorite.
Yeah, for sure. Going to contenders as well here, like we had to have AGL, All Gamers Global there, and like they're just such a good roster, but they haven't been on LAN for quite a while. Twisted Minds didn't perform to the level that we know that they're capable of doing this year. Liquid, a team that should also have been at PGS 7-8 but didn't manage to. Now they're here. We know they're capable of, and of course our PGC champion, defending champion, Expendables, they had to be into the contenders too.
Yeah, which is crazy because you'd imagine they'd be the favorites, but coming into this event, they're not. And so looking at the dark horses, I mean, we kind of toiled on this as well, talking about like we go by regions, but realistically is by the teams we actually thought could be the dark horses to win this. Na'Vi obviously coming in last year had a fairly good year, but inconsistencies. Virtus Pro as well. They've had big roster changes, and then Geekay and T1.
I mean, for me, that's the big one when you talk about these dark horses. The roster changes there have been devastating or could be influential, right? Diffx leaving, tragic in a lot of ways, it seems, for the lineup there at Na'Vi. They're trying to find what's going to work. Stade wasn't able to stay around. They had to let him go. Will their new player step up and be the solution? The other question is VP. Abiz is on the bench. He's coaching right now. Will Curexi come in and be able to be the secret sauce that makes it work?
Well, one thing's for sure, Martin, is that Curexi is a force.
If you think he's an animal, you have to see Curexi. He just devours people on land. No, I mean, I'm extremely excited for Virtus Pro. I think there's so many things to be said about this, and I think they're a team that can come in here and really surprise people. Last year, there's like, oh, these guys are, they won Europe, like they're the underdogs. But this year, they are here to prove stuff.
We've not had much opportunity to really talk about Team Liquid other than just a fleeting moment here, but it is great to see them back online. And I think similar to All Gamers Global, they're going to come in very hungry for this one as well, considering what they did as TSM throughout the entirety of last year.
Considering how good last year was.
Amazing.
Coming into this year, they were one of my front runners going to PGC. I still have them personally picked to win this event. I think Liquid is amazing.
Okay.
That said, PGS was like a big kick in the pants. And I believe that these players are the kinds of guys who will not take that kick in the pants negatively. They're going to say, you know what? Get back, work harder, get better, and they're going to step up in this event.
Godspeed, your response to that?
No, I agree. And again, coming off of a second place at PGC last year, even going into PNC, technically half of that roster was there, right? And so they were able to get fourth place. I know Kurt very well. He gets very upset when they don't place well or when they don't qualify for anything. So I know those boys are coming in equally as hungry to make sure that they set a statement here. And for Liquid as well, for the club championship.
It was only like 2 points at PGC, right? Like, they got second barely. That's got to sting.
I was in a situation where I was like, I talked to them last day, guys, this is yours. Like, this is your time. And I don't know as well as you do, like first name, base and everything, but pretty Curdy, for me, to be able to go in and do it that well at the age that he is, like, he's one of our all-time greatest. Like, he's 30 plus, he's an older guy, but his experience, his leadership, and his IGL in-game, like, I just love that level that he's on.
Well, let's take a look at the schedule then overall and see the games coming at you for today. You're very familiar with the true tried and tested map rotation for all of this. A little bit of a change-up as a whole. We have double Erangel into the wildcard match of Rondo and Tego, and then double Miramar to round things out. So again, as always, Toffees, these teams are going to be tested across every single battleground to figure out who can move.
4 of our maps have been Miramar and Wrangle have been in the game just as long as Kurt, and they're still great. I don't like this old man hate you're dropping. It's a patina. It's a seasoning. That's what this team brings.
For the record, Martin actually knows Purdy Curdy very well. So,
how can you not? They have been here forever.
Thrown, but I do like the new Miramar map picture. It's a sombrero.
Yeah.
It is. It's
wow.
festive.
It's great. I also love that we're ending in Miramar, right? This kind of start that we're going to be having on Erangel, the chaos that we're going to be seeing throughout to begin with, it's great that that's on Erangel. And to end on Miramar, like, that's where everything is kind of figured out in the lobby, and everyone is kind of like, oh, okay, how are we playing? And we're going to be seeing, like, some crazy meta coming out throughout today.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time to get day number 1 ready here for PUBG at the Esports World Cup. We are going to have groups A and B go head-to-head to figure out who can get all of those juicy points for today.
24 of the most dominant teams from around the world are set to land on the battleground over the next 3 days of competition. Every shot, every rotation, every decision made could be the difference between victory and the bitter taste of defeat. And speaking of defeat, 8 of our teams will not make it out of the group stage alive, and instead, the fate of their keys will end in the Crusher. This crazy contraption will figuratively and quite literally crush your dreams of continuing your journey at this $2 million tournament. My name is Barney Banks, and I am your host for PUBG Battlegrounds at the 2025 Esports World Cup. Hundreds of teams began this journey, and they've all dreamt of competing here on the main stage. But now, only the strongest remain. So, let's give them a hero's welcome, shall we? Starting with GK Esports! They are PWDD, Quizzy, Spyro, and Diffex. Theraton 5. They are Rossiter Jr., Pathompong, Fluky, and Ranger X. Toyo! They are Capitan, Emmy, Benha, and Rivo. Game start, win! They are CC, Ming, AZ, and Xiao Tong. Gaming! They are Lil Ghost, Xiao Bei, Xiao Wu, and 7-7. Gen G Esports! They are Tosi, Bean, Orca, and Flame. Change the game! They are Tian Tian, Wenboa, Hang 2Y, and Aries. FN Pochon! They are Star-Lord, Zenith, Rex, and Americano. Sharper Esports! They are Earth Zapalui, Exquisite, Thunder, and Jedi. TDT Esports. They are Huang F, Jun, Wang Yi, and Ziu Wan. Virtus Pro. They are Lucarax, Nixie, Beamy, and Corexi. Buriram United Esports. They are Khan, Ruse, Eddie, and Dynasty. ROC Esports. They are RBN, Souls, Santastico, and BL. Full Sense. They are Tigger, Belmoth, Thanodol, and Flash. All Gamers Global. They are Himas, Haisaki, Tycon, and Destroy. T1! They are Type, Raining, E-End, and Heather. Navi! They are Theorist, Sosid, Hakatori, and Extends. Twisted Minds! They are Batulins, Lu, Perfectix, and Example. Team Liquid! They are Purdy Gertie, A-Flow, Luke, and Sparking. DN Freaks! They are Gumin, Heaven, Salute, and Deal. The Expendables! They are Clories, Delwyn, Tanvu, and Duck Juice. BB Team! They are Aduzi, Bestaloch, Phil First, and Molodoct. Petrichor Road! They are Aches Left, Ming Ming, Chui, and Nan. And now your reigning club champions, Team Falcons! They are H-Win, Shrimsy, Kickstart, and Tiggleton. Today, you set yourself a bar and the rest of your competition. Don't be complacent. Make them realize that they never stood a chance once you landed on the map. So welcome to the Battlegrounds and welcome to the group stage.
The back and 17's going to be trying to gatekeep them out. Headstock does go up.
And Snakers finally joins the party, finds Ming Summer down as well. All lights are on the Katia Esports Arena as the guys get ready in their seats to start the PUBG Battlegrounds tournament here at the Esports World Cup. I'm Toby, and my oh my, is it good to be back, joined by the cowboy himself. Howdy ho, Poro.
And I cannot stress this enough, Hall. I'm so glad to be back with you, Toby, as we are getting ready. It is hot outside. It is stifling heat, but that is nothing compared to what we're about to see here on the fields of Erangel, as these guys are ready to get a big start going and get that snowball rolling, guarantee themselves for the grand finals, because it is going to be so hard to fight back if you start off slow.
Oh yes, we all know how the end of the year for the PUBG schedule always tends to get really packed, and I feel like EWC is the time to start building that tournament momentum. If you come out strong here, you go almost straight into the PGS quals and then PGC at the end of the day. Whew, you want to get off to a good start here, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and especially when there's so much money on the line in this tournament right here. As we take a look at that stage, that thing is popping up. Be careful about your toesies around there.
It's been a while since we've had the team set somewhat face. You can see they're set back to one another there, but across the board, across the trophy in the middle, they're sat facing each other, obviously screens in the way and whatnot, so they can't directly see each other, but still there's a bit of a, they're over there, we're coming for them, you know?
Yeah, this is a setup that we have not seen in a long time, but I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I really am. And
always creative.
It is going to be real fun once we get to the grand final and we start seeing the crowds start to fill into the arena and get everybody hyped up. But you got a lot of work to do to get to that point. As we take a look at some of these, I gotta say, very very calm-looking faces. Nobody really looking too terribly nervous just right now.
They've been here before, man. It's veterans across the board, at least for the most part, outside of a few of the Asian teams. A lot of these players have been on stages like this before, and at this point in competition, we're coming to expect the experience garnered on a roster. Because sometimes you have a team with one or two that are newcomers to the scene, but then you have the veteran on the roster that can give you that experience. If you can't play under those conditions, you don't even make it to this point in the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely some squads out here that are going to be relying on all that international experience. Like you look at Sharper Esports, this is one team that is very new on the scene here. They have been around forever in APAC, but they've always been one of those that are just a little bit short at making these international events. Now, they do have experience, though. X-Crozit, Thunders, they have been on teams in the past that have made it to these international stages, but not as before as a team. You can see the coach just getting everybody stretched out. I like it.
I like this a lot.
We should do that right now, too.
Should we? Get up. All right,
everybody.
I'm looking at you waiting to see if you're actually getting out of your seat.
Twitch chat, let's get up. Let's get.
Are we actually standing up for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's stretch. Everyone, oh, that's the wrist as well. There we go.
To the right.
And we're staying on them for the camera as well. I love this.
A little bit to the left.
I hope everyone else in the arena is watching this and doing the same thing, because I don't think I've ever been part of a group stretch prior to tournaments.
Oh man, I haven't done this since I was in high school sports.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Great, yeah, but
thank you so much.
Get loosened up, man.
Oh, now we get to sit down.
Gotta get
these boys. They've won in this arena twice before. They're like, we don't need to stretch. We're good. We'll just go back and do what we've done before. It worked last time. Why wouldn't it here?
I mean, they have just been the PUBG kings of Riyadh.
They sure have.
And it is going to take some work to dethrone them, but they've got a lot of work to do. But talking to them coming into this, they are feeling about as confident as I've ever seen them look.
Yeah, the back-to-back Riyadh champions, but I will say that was not wearing the Falcons banner. And we know how much the Falcons org means to Saudi Arabia and the...
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone involved in this tournament. So curious to see if maybe that pressure, the added need for just talking championship points and all that, the added pressure. They're still going. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. It's like a full body workout.
Man,
I love this.
Look, they're doing great. They're gonna be so fresh coming into.
You know what? If they come in and would just see non-stop 180 flicks for headshots, I'm like, guys, everyone's got to be getting in on this routine.
Well, look, as somebody used to, look, a very, very long time ago, as I know everybody needs to remind themselves, but there's something to be said about a routine going into something that's like a high pressure situation like this. There's if you get a routine going, then it's easier to take the things that you brought from practice into the real game.
For sure. But also, I mean, and coming from football, I'm sorry, Euro, but not that version, the American one.
It wasn't you this time.
But for a lot of our workouts or stretches that we did prior to game, sure, I mean, they do help, of course, but that 5-second bending of the wrist maybe ain't doing much, but it's everyone doing the same thing together. It's more of a ritual thing, really, coming into a game, getting everyone in the zone, getting everyone focused on the same thing. I think from a mental perspective, it's equally, if not more important to be doing such things than it is for the physical aspect of it.
I mean, I love it. I know all the esports physios out there are just pumping their fist in the air saying, thank you. This is what we've been saying. This is what we've been saying y'all need to do forever. But also, half the time we see them just leaning back in their chair falling asleep.
Also, they all knew that routine inside out. I thought they were all going to be staring at the coach waiting for him to show the next move. No, they knew what they were doing. So this is clearly not the first time they've pulled out that routine. And who knows? Maybe that's what got them here. Maybe it's the synergy among them that got them here.
Well, they're going to need a lot more than just some good stretch routine to find themselves in the grand finals of this lobby.
Oh, and now they're full focus.
A little meditating here before getting in there.
Really?
But, look, we got high hopes for Sharper Esports. So we got high hopes for any of our APAC teams because, I mean, it is if one thing has been proven time and time again over the past year or so, it is that there's always going to be at least one team from APAC that shocks the world.
And even more so, knowing, of course, that we are playing a best-of-12 grand final.
Yeah.
If teams like Sharper or some of the other APAC teams make finals, I mean, again, APAC have impressed everyone over the last 2 years, and right now, arguably one of the best, if not the best region in the world, just given Vietnam winning PNC and Expendables being the world champions. Exactly. So, but even then, some of the lesser globally experienced teams of APAC still bring that roller coaster vibe to a lobby where teams don't necessarily know exactly what they're planning on doing, and maybe there's a hot drop here, maybe they're pulling up in situations that other teams don't expect. And while that can definitely go against you, when it's just 12 games, if you get a couple of those 50-50 situations working back to back, all of a sudden you're set in a position from where the, let's call them more experienced teams that are usually we're a day 2 team. There ain't no room for being a day 2 team in a 2-day grand final.
There sure isn't.
So hopefully for Shabba, if they can make it there, they can take it real far. Same thing, of course, eyes on the All Gamers Global boys, because they too have a lot riding in this tournament. So much experience.
Stuffies, man.
They are kind of cool.
I need one of them stuff.
They are.
And they all have their own little hairstyles. And some of them got little hats and everything. Look at
I love the fact that we heard in the Bella interview earlier when she asked if Tygon colored his hair blonde because him as was, and he was like, "I shoot better. He wants my hair," and Tygon was like, "Yeah." So you know what? I love it. I absolutely love it. Brothers in arms. And loving to see them on the same roster once more.
There we go. Rock boys in the building tonight.
Yeah.
After finding themselves in PGS 7 and 8, they learned a lot from that international competition. Their first ones, really, is we got to see the potential rise of a new superstar in Santastico. Some amazing individual plays coming out there, and that's the question every time we come into the. That's what makes these first days of the tournament so exciting. Tell me why I love doing the first games is because you never know who is going to be the next one that has a breakout, just shooting star tournament, and it's always somebody new, right? It's, and you know, some of the tried and true guys. Obviously, we'll see. You know, I'm not expecting to see Himash just do nothing, right? I'm not expecting to see Ike Slep just fall off the face of the earth. But there's always going to be those players that, you know, maybe we haven't heard about a lot, and they just find themselves in a perfect situation and pull off just an insane 1v4, or, you know, what was it? You do the. I hate that Beamy is known for this because Beamy's such a great player, but healing through like 50-something first aids in the blue.
Whatever it takes to get you all the way there today. We saw Gen G on our screens for a second as well. One of the most respected orcs coming out of Korea. I am hoping to see them get something going here. We know they played really well in the qualifiers leading into this tournament, but it's been a while since we've seen Gen G really play at the top of the leaderboards in global tournaments, and I'm hoping to see them be able to deliver here. There you go, Shabba, finally done with their prep. Maybe that's what everyone else was waiting for, guys. We have this 18-minute routine, and you don't start the game before we've done it. So there you go. If you
they're good.
If you're not warm, then you weren't doing the Shabba routine, that's for sure.
Well, it's a lot of time to sit here and think about stuff, man. I know these guys would prefer to just get up to the stage, get in the seats, and get in the game. But the longer you sit around waiting, the more you start getting in your feelings, start getting in your thoughts. You can only check those drop maps so many times.
Yep, you can. You get a lot of time to second guess yourself, both from a player perspective, but most importantly from a captain perspective, because you've gone over all these plans, of course, weeks in and weeks out leading into this tournament, and especially over the last couple of days coming into it, with scrims being played yesterday and the day before, and today, of course, as well, talking to your team, talking to potentially opposing teams as well. And sometimes it's better to just click start. You know, sometimes better to just get in on the server, because if you spend too much time sitting, contemplating, overthinking your own decisions, that can lead to terrible decisions at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way.
Exactly.
You have to deal with what you got. So I think they're trying to get everybody into the game. There's a team that is very, very pleased to have a full roster. I am very excited to see what this squad can do with Diffix in the lineup. I mean, going back to PGS 8, they had to play with Haruzen, their coach. Obviously, not a slouch himself, but he's not Diffix, right? Like,
that is true.
And they still managed to make the grand final. So, like, now that you have that superstar player back, I'm very excited to see what GK can pull out.
Another team that I love seeing back on the global stage, Buram Esports. I think
Buram. I haven't seen him since 2022.
I was gonna say, I mean, back in the days of old, when PUBG was still in its infancy, maybe not infancy, but a couple of years in, before APAC managed to claim the global crown, Buram was one of the few teams that time and time again actually did qualify for global tournaments. They were the spearhead of APAC PUBG for the longest time, but then Cerberus came in and joined that party. So did Daytrade, so did, I mean, many other teams that kind of rose above, not, of course, to forget about our world champions, the Expendables. But now we have Buram back there fighting for the trophy once more. I think it's great to have that org back in the picture, because they were one of the, so to say, founding fathers of APAC esports when it comes to PUBG.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like the music is getting hype. I'm getting hype. These players are ready to get into game and hopefully all of you watching at home are getting hype as well as the trophy rises from the ground. One of these teams will rise to claim it at the end of this weekend, but we've got to get things started here on Erangel with the first game of Groups A versus B.
Rise above as a slogan gets a whole new meaning when the entire stage literally lifts in the air. Players locked in, fully focused, ready to get off to a strong start, because I say this every freaking tournament, but the level just gets higher and higher and higher, no matter what's thrown at these players, be it new additions to the game, new maps, whatever you may think of. They always find a way to conquer the obstacles they go into and make themselves even better.
Absolutely, and we have got some of those changes, those new changes that we will talk about as the days progress, and we'll see how much of an impact they have, if any teams have really incorporated these changes into their overall strategies, or if they're just going to be a bunch of nothings.
Being a representative of the country of Denmark, I feel like I talk for everyone when saying we have seen what the new implemented things can do, be it red zones, BRDMs or C4s. Denmark got a load of all of it during Nations Cup, and you know what still made the grand final?
Hey, they made the grand final.
I was
That's all
talking
you
to Beamy at lunch before we got into this, and he's like, yeah, no, I have no clue how we actually managed to pull that off, because a lot of people, it's all about the coach, of course. Shout out to Avenger, of course. And then here you have them, everyone locked in, guys. Plane is in the air, ready for the first game of EWC PUBG Battlegrounds getting started. And here we are, and what better place to kick things off than back on good old Erangel.
Yes, indeed. As Erangel has proven to be very bloody more recently in recent times. We'll see if that remains the case here today. Looking at the drop maps going at the very beginning of coming into this tournament, no real hot spots or even warm spots, really, as everybody is pretty much kind of staking claim to themselves. That farm pier area was a little bit dicey, but it looks like, well, I don't know. We got like 7 yellow teams down there. You see All Gamers and Navi looking like they're getting a little bit close to each other, and this is definitely something Navi doesn't want to have to deal with again.
There's an observer director somewhere going, All Gamers Global, why did you change your logo from red to yellow? Please. But yeah, GK Navi, All Gamers Global, staying yellow down on the southern coast of mainland Erangel. Or the main island, I should say. As we wait for the first circle to pop, everyone's spreading out. As you said, no hot drops, no contested vehicles, and a pretty straightforward eastern circle to kick things off here as well.
Okay, centering up just to the west of that prison area, where Buriram currently having a nice prison shelter split. You see the Navi boys sticking together early on here. Don't want to get caught out in a well, this is kind of one of those things, right? That Navi, this is when they do these farm drops, they like to be able to split their guys up, to be able to take different compounds. But the fact that now they have All Gamers and they've got GK that are so close to them, they can't do that. So now they've got to get whatever they can from that one compound for 4 men, and then hop on their horses and get on out of there.
Navi's had an interesting journey. I intentionally didn't talk to Elrain about it today because I want to wait and see how they play on day one. They've had an interesting journey of being like one of the most edge-heavy teams in all of PUBG, raiding to phase 2, sometimes phase 3, to come into the circle later back. And then at one point they were like, guys, we're now going to contest center. We're now going to go Pachinki Picado every game. And well, it went how it went, trying to make that happen. And now they're back somewhat edge, but in this specific circle, in this specific game, they are surrounded.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that teams are going to center up in and around Shelter, down towards the northern sides of Milta and up towards the Lumberyard. But where Navi's going to play this from, I think it's going to be very interesting to follow, because you have so many teams still out towards the west, and there's only so much space to wrap hard north around on this first circle. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if Navi just stays where they are and waits to see what happens around them.
Yeah, I think that's Navi. That's a team, Dan, that they kind of need to start putting something up now. At this point, you know, it's been over a year with the new roster. Well, okay, with the exception of Stead from PGS, they replace him, pick up Extends, and now, you know, they've got the new. But there's always, it seems like there's always an excuse. There's always some reason why they don't perform as well as everybody is expecting them to. And obviously, we know that Hackatory is that dude. But you know, at some point, we need to start seeing something a little bit more from Na'Vi to keep putting them up there in the conversation for these what do we want to call it? Contenders, I guess.
Yeah. They.
That's just, and again, that's just my opinion.
No, right? By all means.
And I don't want to, I hate
double down.
Well, I understand that they're getting new players, right, and that's making things a little bit more difficult. But I hope that they can find a little bit of stability here with this roster. I hope that they find extends and they really like the way that they're playing with them, and that we can actually see that same roster here for a couple of international tournaments and see what they're really capable of, because it feels like, people are right. They are a fantastic squad.
Yep. We see games start, win, rotating far north around, avoiding the south side red zone, because don't want to be driving through that one, at least not this early on in the game. They're going to get their rotation going. In the meantime, Falcons, of course, a lot of eyes on them. Far out towards the Puffka on the east side, I would be surprised to see them go for anything aggressive here too. Shrimsy got the God compound just on the northeastern side of prison. H-Win set up on the up and down up above. Stay on the coast, wait for the next circle to pop up. First knock comes through, and that is Sharper losing one early on. Maybe the stretching ain't helping them all that much as Tosi is finding the first.
Yeah, both of these teams, Gen G looting up in Razak and then Sharper looting up in School. They leave at the exact same time. They run into each other on the top of Volcano. They will lose Jajai, but at least Thunders is able to get out of there, and they will remain 3 up. But Gen G will pick up the first kill here at EWC 2025.
And we talked about it coming into it. I mean, when we saw them on screen just before, saying teams don't always know what to expect from some of these orgs, and this is one of those. Okay, now we know not to do that again, because they too have to figure out where do they belong or where do they fit in between all these rosters that have played against each other year after year. And not there, that's for sure.
That's definitely not the one you want. But it looks like Gen G, after picking up that one, they'll go ahead and let Sharper retreat, and they'll send a couple of players down here. I believe that's Flame and Orca. And Bean showing out in that Korean qualifier in a big way. And maybe this is this it? Is this Gen G? Are we going to see Gen G coming back to prominence with this roster?
I'm not going to lie. When I saw Gen G dropping Rex after he was actually the one top performing on the team at the time, I was very surprised. Even went out and said, Gen G, you finally have something good going. What's going on here? But as you're saying, as other people have been saying as well, Bean, he has been performing incredibly well. Hopefully he can rise up, but that just makes me think, what if they had to vote? I mean, it's I feel like Rex still belonged on the roster. Of course, there can be a lot of synergy things, personal reasons why that player didn't fit on the team, but I was very surprised to see him go, and even more so now curious to see what they'll do without him.
Yeah, that's one thing, tale as old as time, and you can't just look at the stat book when it comes to figuring out what players are going to fit with which teams and how it's all going to work. It's a lot deeper than that, as we see Toyo, northernmost team here, just stretching on past Naya. They see GSW just to their south, and we'll be keeping eyes on where they decide to rotate, all inside the zone here, so they have plenty of time to really figure this out.
Yep, wide wrap just backfilling in and around that rotation. A small dot circle center, or at least close there too. Trying to scout the compounds down below. Enjoy all the DMRs you're seeing used right now, kids, because they ain't around for much longer, I think, with the recent patch notes that we've seen from 37.1.
No,
we're going to go back
We're not going to get rid of them altogether.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some VSSs every now and again, I'm sure. But,
hey, VSS is good. I will take that to my grave.
I think we're in for a mutant meta like never before, but that's just my prediction. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen.
There you go, Jack. Clip it. Mutants are going to be OP.
You know what? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see as Hank and Edie right next to one another and caught by surprise, but able to stay put. Vehicle granting him the cover he needs, and not just that, but great double headshot connected. Gets the lip with a scare.
That is tough for Hangy. That is, he just did not land a single shot on that spray. And fortunate for Edie, as we see one of our new changes that we were talking about, those red zones coming in there. I'm sure everybody has feelings about it some type of way, but we'll see if it has any impact at the
If it's going to go anywhere, go shelter early game. I mean, it's literally built to withstand situations like this.
It's a shelter to protect you from
exactly.
red zones.
Exactly. There's a reason for it. To see here, Full Sense making their way towards the circle. Last team to make their way on in as well, of course, powerhouse players with formerly represented by Day Trade. A lot of people were surprised to see that org dip, but now Full Sense is in the picture. We'll hope to see them do something great under this new banner.
Absolutely. Well, they finally started finding some success at PGS 7 and 8, and it's been a kind of a long slog for them. They've always been able to get here, but then once they're here, they just haven't really found a way to make to find any consistency, right? Like sometimes they'll be great and they look like world beaters, and then other times it's just absolutely nothing. So maybe the orange, that creamy orange, Full Sense, will be the thing that turns it around. Oh, yeah, there you go, Peach. Oh, duck juice.
Duck juice. Hate to see it happen. Quack, quack, as they were saying, and you walk in. We'll see if that vehicle is going to get flipped. It's kind of an awkward situation to have that vehicle be flipped into, but there comes a bike. Watch out. And we're just going to slip and slide.
We got it.
No, I don't think so.
No, we don't got it.
And then over to Mr. Tanwoo, which you can only say like that if you're a real Tanwoo believer. They're going to be wrapping in, of course.
Gatekeeping how to say Tanwoo. I love it.
We'll see what they can muster here in this, again, fairly simple first circle. Playing with Southern as well, so no super awkward rotation to come in. There is a lot of presence on the Southern side here, though.
Yeah, it's very heavy south.
Up north, too. So if this circle goes north, as we'll see here, we could have some awkward situations. I didn't even think about East, to be honest. Wow. This, too, is going to get awkward because now we're looking at Rock. We're looking at BB Falcons, all the gatekeepers of the East Coast. If they don't move too far, all the teams on the West are going to have a real hard time.
Imagine if 17 had popped that E-pick up just a little bit sooner.
Yes, sir.
Like a minute and a half sooner, they might be in business. But look at this, Na'Vi. They are in a perfect position to take advantage of a few rotating teams as they come through. Tanwoo going to go down to Diffix as GK will pick up their first point. Diffix now down to half HP. The rest of the squad is coming, and Diffix is on his own. No, PWD is nearby, but it doesn't matter.
PWD, great shots coming through here. And again, a collateral effect, domino effect, call it whatever you want. GK wanted to rotate through. Na'Vi stops them. We talked about it just before, expecting to see Na'Vi sit tight and wait to see what other teams do. They do exactly that. Catch two, and because they get caught, Expendables get caught in that transition as well. So unlucky for our current reigning world champions to fall out as the first.
Having that high ground, man. Na'Vi made it work, and now they are pushing in. They know that there's some free points down here to claim. As PWD, I think he knows he's getting the call from Diffix. Just get on out of there, try to see if we can get a few points from a solo position, but
no reason for Na'Vi to hunt it down. No. I mean, they know there's a knock, and that's what they're waiting for. Diffix is down, former teammate locked in the building down below. As Sharpa gets taken out as well. Him as Destroy Edie working together to find the three of them. Again, we talked about it, tough rotations, trying to make your way east here. And now Na'Vi, as we've seen them do so many times before, will clean sweep this building, looking for the last player, and then make their way towards
I like this. Na'Vi just being very disciplined, don't want to take any unnecessary knocks or any unnecessary losses. Looks like PWD spotted out somebody from Na'Vi, but here we have some action going on the prison cliffs as Raining will put him as on his backside, as that is a nice peek and a nice spray. Destroy up there still, though, as there you go, GK will get eliminated in the end by Na'Vi.
I mean, for T1 in particular, in this situation, great threat to get eliminated early on, because you do not want to be sitting door to door with him, as never knowing when that flash and immediate follow is going to come through. So good on them to get him out of the way. Tycon now under fire as well. Awkward position for them to be in, because they have opponents all around them. Gotta love the hand cam there as well, seeing how quickly, even though it doesn't look like they're moving a lot, they're constantly AWSDing to make sure that no Bolty somewhere is going to get a clean headshot.
Speaking of Bolty, Shrimsy just popping somebody with the Bolty. That's not something you see every day.
Cool.
But yeah, Haisaki now has gone down. So, as we said before, AGAL with that cliffside position.
A little bit of cover.
The shots from T1, the shots from Falcons, and the pressure from Buriram are just putting them in a really bad spot now as Destroy trying to go for that res, but it is just brutal as they are doing everything they can to maybe get back up to 3 strong. But even if they get back up to 3 strong, it is going to be tough there. Tycon going down.
I mean, Destroyer's on a tricky mission now. They need Haisaki back up because he's the only one to be able to suppress up behind, and that's where they're vulnerable from. But now with Tycon folding too, I mean, he's a medic on the run, trying to make sure his teammates are going to stay up. But the more people getting knocked, the more that position opens up and becomes really tempting for other teams to try and take.
That other E pickup now in the air. That's changed the game. You can see them coming out of shelter. They were taking shots from Gen G, who was coming in slow. Change the game will drop before they get over to Milta Power, but you can see what they're pulling into. It is just a whole bunch of teams spread out, the shots coming through, and I think we're about to see a lot of change the game, boys, in that kill feed.
The anti-air has been set up, and they're not getting their foot in on whether it be the Forest or Lumber proper. There's too many teams around here already. Had they gone west, I mean, look at the circle right now with how it shifted back. There's literally only Na'Vi and Gen G playing the western half of this circle. The remaining 10 teams are in and around Preston, Northside, Milta, and Lumberyard.
Yeah, those hillsides just to the north of Milta are going to be brutal.
Yep.
You can see just knocks after knocks coming through. Type will spot out AZ as T1 doing a good job of gatekeeping the north side of this zone as Game Start Win trying to find an entrance.
It's so awkward to try and rotate in when you're on the edge right now because the center teams can't move and they don't want to fight each other either. So normally you see the next circle pop and people kind of move further and further, like leapfrog towards the circle center. But no one is moving right now. Again, as we said, half the circle on the western side is occupied by just 2 teams. Na'Vi really reaping the rewards for playing patient earlier here. Coming in this late, now getting half a circle or quarter circle at least to themselves. Yes, they got red zone, but they should be all right. In the meanwhile, out in the east, the amount of player per square meter is infinitely higher than anywhere else.
Yeah, no, Na'Vi and Gen G.
Get out of the car, Flash.
In pretty good position here. Full Send playing their way through Milta. Just being very slow. Again, just playing edge right now. And Game Start Win, meanwhile, on that northern side, hopped into vehicles. There's 3 strong. They're coming over to this western side. They're eating a lot of blue zone damage right now. We'll see where they decide to enter in. And if they get anywhere close here to Gen G or to Na'Vi, they could be donezo pretty quickly.
I know we say that red zones only hit noobs, but for Flash to slow drive through the red zone in Milta in this situation in a global tournament, I'm like, bro, my heart rate is high. What is yours? I mean, how can you just calmly stroll through there, knowing that it could hit at any time? In the meantime, Gen G, again, a lot of eyes on Bean to see if he can perform like he did in the qualifiers. We'll see what he can make happen here as Game Start Win on a wide western rotation. Only team to attempt this move. It actually works out for them.
So far, I mean, they've got these hills that they can stop down on and kind of stop down and heal up and get right.
Yeah.
Scout out a little bit more. Now they've got Na'Vi in a 2-2 split just ahead of them. But for now, they are safe. As we see another E pickup. Man, that is a late E pickup popped here by Full Sense. I doubt there's any chance they take this unless it is just a... Oh, yeah, they're perfect. Yeah, no, they're vibing now. They're feeling great. But, okay, this prison situation is about to come to a head because you got T1, Falcons, Buriram, all 4 strong up there next to each other, all of them knowing exactly where the others are. As we see GSW trying to make the send in right as Na'Vi does, so good timing for them as they will get into a compound and not get involved in a full-on fight with Na'Vi.
Timing great and execution perfect as well. They knew if there's anyone on the western side here, because we haven't been shot at on the entire rotation, they have to be playing split. So they say, guys, let's all 4 commit to one building. Na'Vi sees that from the north side and go, guys, dip. We have much more to play for, playing the high ground above them, because effectively Na'Vi is getting the better of the 2 compounds here. So very smart on them to commit to that play on both sides, really.
Gotta say, Na'Vi is looking like they are in a great position to find some success here to start off this tournament and get that snowball rolling here in the group stages. Falcons, meanwhile, still squaring off with Buriram on the side of that hill. They've got the blue zone starting to tickle at their heels.
Yep.
And they've got to start making some decisions here pretty quickly.
Orca, ulti in hand, getting the knock onto one of the T1 players. Do you commit to the fight now, or do you try to use that knock to get inside the circle yourself? Seems like they can't really commit to it proper either. In the meantime, up on the hills of Prison, shots being fired and knocks being found. Falcons down 2.
I could see the thought there, the thought with Trimsy and Kickstart trying to go wide, leaving the other 2 back as anchors and try to take advantage of Buriram while they're taking the spraying down on the other 2. But unfortunately, Buriram has these deployable covers that they can hide behind, and just nothing was given. no shots were given to the two Falcons players on the north. So Tickleton and H-Win now in the blue, having to find their way through as T1 and Gen G are going to be scrapping just off to the west.
See Raining going for one more shot. Orca trying to make the Baldy ring once more, down to 3 first state. Should be able to sit tight for a bit. But he has Type right next door. I'm not sure he's aware. He's sitting in the open trying to get this res off, and no, indeed, does not realize. Good thing Tosi is there for the trade immediately, though.
Good work by Tosi there to make sure he can support his teammate, as looks like Orca will go down to the blue. The rest of Gen G continue to make their way into the zone. Looks like 17 has an angle on him, but it's not a great one, so those 3 should be okay. Meanwhile, Latin America scrapping amongst themselves as Rock and Toyo will get involved. Buriram still trying to make their way in, but BB team, they've been hanging out at the logging camp, and they were ready.
It's a layer cake of destruction. The further up the hill you go, the more better equipped the teams are sat there waiting for you to come their way. Take is going to be running straight into Molotov. Now, timing might be great, though, because Molotov got into a car right before he heard Tick cut his engine, so maybe not aware of what's going on. But again, look at the circle spread. Navi and around, nothing. In the meantime, towards the northeast, it is chaotic.
Chaotic indeed, as now Rock will have to call in Solds. The new circle pops, and it is going down to the south once again. The Milton Fields are going to be where we finish this thing off. Navi in a great position, but all of this happening off to the northeast is going to have to come to a head. Toyo and Rock have been trading back and forth. Each team is beaten and busted. You can see Emmy, the last player left alive for Toyo, but all that being said, 11 teams alive. They've got 4 kills. Rock down to Solds. We'll make sure he secures another point for the squad. Maybe get this res too.
Say 11 teams alive, but I'm seeing 6 out of 29 players that are inside the next circle. We're going to be down to 5 teams by the time this circle comes to a close. So look at the kill feed, everyone. It's going to be popping as soon as this circle starts closing in 15 seconds. And yeah, he's down.
Yeah,
nothing you can do. Take lane low, see if H-Win can somehow backfill and get inside this next circle as Navi finally getting a little bit of pressure their way. Flame try to make a wraparound, but Sosa catches him, takes him down, and out goes Falcons as well.
Man, BB team has just been in a perfect position to capitalize off of all of this. They've got 4 guys alive. They're starting to collect here now that rent is due to make their way into the north side. Navi getting more active, starting to spread out. You see the angles that they have here on 17. 7 kills now for Navi. We talked about it. We need to see something from them, and boy, they are coming in here in the first match of EWC and letting everybody know that they are the real deal.
Did exactly what they had to in the early game, and now they get to reap the rewards here in the mid to late game as Xiaobei peeks over, finds smaller dog, swaps over to the DMR, sees if he can get one more rotating BB team player down below. Not gonna happen. This is what was worrying before, because yes, they sit and they claim kills on the edge, but you also have to move in afterwards. A BB team looking outward the whole time, never knew what they were running into themselves. So great timing from Gen G to pounce when they did.
All right, we got a few solos still left on the north side. You've got Emmy from Toyo, Raining from T1, Bestalok from BB team, and Edie from Buriram still way out in the blue. 17 now the one to be the kings of the north on the high side here. We'll see if they can collect a few more points for their trouble, or will they get stabbed in the back by one of these Vipers?
I was gonna say we have 3 solos out, not outside the circle yet, because Raining is still technically inside blue. But if they can sweep their everything behind them and the circle swings north, that could have 17 written all over this one.
Yeah, they'll be looking great, but I mean, you can see Navi has eyes over in this direction.
Yes.
That's why they gotta drop the smoke walls down. Fortunately, they've got plenty to spare. You see 5 still in the bag here for Xiaobei.
Yeah.
And that is good news if you're a 17 fan. As again, Full Sense has been on the south side of this, fighting out of Milta proper for this whole time. Game Start Win managed to get Ming and X-Tong down there as well. So they are playing out of a compound. We'll see where this next circle decides to go, and it's going to pull away from the city. So Navi once again getting a little bit of love here.
Definitely able to sit tight in the compound for at least a little bit longer. Happy now they opted to play it slow. In the beginning of the game as Raining knows he has to come down this hill, but no matter where he peaks, there's entire teams looking his way, and he might just concede at the end of it. I'm not sure what his health situation is in terms of medkits and whatnot, but you'd have to imagine that he's running pretty low at this point.
I think the only shot you got really is...
Even with
that's a good. That might open up a door here. Xiao Wu getting taken down by Extends.
No utility.
Rookie on Navi. But yeah, Raining has just nothing in the bag.
Oh, does he see Edie?
First aids. And Edie will go down to the blue, but not before. He picks up another point there for Buriram, so that could come in huge later.
Rainin finds one, peeks on down, well aware that that 17 had to go for the rest here, but cannot leave himself exposed to Na'Vi. And without Util, it's so hard to figure where you can really make this move from. But now, using 17 smokes against them, he's trying to pan down the hill, but Xiao Wu sat down there ready and waiting. Will get the rest.
Absolutely huge from Xiao Wu, making sure that he keeps his team in this. They'll get that res, but you could see how beaten they are. That vest, that helmet was almost donezo. As we see Full Sense starting to sneak away from Milta, but Na'Vi not letting him get it for free. The shot's coming down on Athanadol as Belmont will try to return fire and protect his teammate.
Exactly, timing great right now, hoping that they can take the fight to Na'Vi, which is a tough one because they have Na'Vi sat in a compound inside circle, but they're hoping, expecting for 17 to assist. So whenever Na'Vi peaks, try to take the fight to Full Sense, they will leave themselves open to 17 players. Now that they know their rest, they can go for the push on forward as Ming falls. Solt's able to take him down.
I was about to say, you don't forget about GSW. And,
sure.
They were pushed up there, but unfortunately, Sol's being really on time with it. It looked like everybody kind of forgot about these guys on the eastern side, but now Xtong and Solds, it looks like 17. They're like, well, we know that there's two full teams over there scrapping on the west. Let's go and clean this eastern side of the circle, get a couple more points if we can. As Xtong and Solds continuing their 1v1, and Solds down to no HP.
Yeah, and this is the issue currently for Full Sense, I should say. They're like, 17, where are you? We needed you to cover us. And you have to imagine that there's going to be some Nate icons in the kill feed in just a moment, because Na'Vi did push 2 out, but now the fighting on the east comes to an end. Look how quickly Ferris and Hagatori sprints back towards the building. They know, wait, fighting on the east is over. We have 3 4-man teams left alive. We cannot leave open angles. Let this next circle dictate whether we're moving out of this building or not.
Just look how much space 17 has to work with. Now, it's not the best space, obviously. It's very wide open hills. But
no one's in.
Oh my goodness!
Literally
nobody going to either is inside the sun. Now 17 is I don't know. Their rock that they're playing around is just outside of this circle, so I don't know what they're sitting on in terms of smoke at this point. And obviously you can see, look how many the hills are just littered with dead smokes here from Full Sense and Na'Vi. So utility.
It's Navi's move.
Yeah, I mean utility at this point is going to be.
Wait, did those
Did they drop
covers just exactly not land inside the circle? That was
very close.
I was gonna say that could actually be really, really dangerous for Full Sense if they have those deployable covers available, or emergency covers, I should say, and they don't get them inside the circle proper, because there's not really any cover for them to work with inside the circle. They have their vehicles still, at least 2 of them, I know, but I'm not sure what the tire situation is. But for now, it's Navi's time to move, and honestly, they can pretty much dictate the winner of this game by deciding, do we go west or east on this one?
Yeah, this is going to be.
Is that a C4 car?
This is going to be really interesting here. Na'Vi have to make a decision, and they're trying to see. Yeah, they're trying to see if they can get the C4 car. Love to see it, but unfortunately, not going to find any success on that one. But now Na'Vi on the clock. And it looks like down to the south is going to be the best option here. And now 17, all they have to do is sit here and wait and see how this plays out.
Sure.
And strike at the right time. They've got to be on time, though, with the push.
Yep, top 2 guaranteed. They try to see if they can make a play towards the south. Now they try to claim
Na'Vi going to avoid them altogether.
Yeah, they want to try and sit down the middle and prone it out. They know that all teams here are somewhat low on util, and they're outside nade range, at least initially. But they put themselves in a bowl. They put themselves in a position where they know if Full Sense peeks us, as you can see right here, Little Ghost is shooting over the top. They're both fighting over the top of Na'Vi, hoping, please just no one have a nade, no one take us out, and we get top 2. This is a smart play on them, knowing that they are limited in what else they can do.
Well, I mean, it's hoping. It's hoping that they don't.
It is.
That Full Sense is not sitting on just a whole bunch of grenades. And there you go. Flash going to find one on the Hagatori. 2 down now, 3 down now, as it is just getting sprayed from both sides. But the good news for Navi is that Full Sense has been knocked twice as well, but look at 17. They're starting to spread around on the eastern side. They're going north, they're going south, they're getting every angle available, and they are putting the pressure on both of these squads.
Why let them fight one another if you can come in and take the kills for yourself? 17 Gaming has been so close in so many tournaments, but it's always been those few extra points that separated them from being tournament champions, and here they are coming once more, wanting all of it for themselves.
Do not let them have a chance to breathe. That is exactly the mantra of 17 here, as they are putting their foot on the neck of these teams, as they are beaten and busted, and now 17 putting themselves in a beautiful position to win this game, but Navi somehow, some way, through the smokes, still alive.
Yeah.
So is Full Sense.
Yep, no one daring to commit too hard to this, knowing there's still 3 teams in it. Now, honestly, it's on Full Sense to make the next move. Circle is swung towards the east. They're spraying through the smokes here, trying to find favors, but as you're saying, bro, somehow they stay alive. Not sure what type of Matrix movies he's been doing his practice routines with, but Fairest in the smokes, if he gets both here, that would be upset.
I mean, Extends is
There's
just bleeding
no
out.
way. Yeah, there's no smoke is fading out as well. I'm not sure if he has any more to work with.
Well, he's not going for it.
I mean, he can. The smokes are fading, and as soon as they do, he's going to be shot in the head.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's
sure.
That's got Navi written all over it. Great read by Tigger.
Yeah, one more grenade will do it. And there you go. Nicely done. It was a great game for Navi so far, but in the end, it just proved too much. As 17 will try to do what they can to get rid of these last 2 players from Full Sense. They've got new colors, but they are the same old day trade. They are still very, very tough to kill, as they will try to donate 1 point over to the blue. And there you go, the last one comes through. And 17 Gaming, your PGS 7 champions, are coming into EWC looking hot.
I love the fact that we have 2 Edge teams coming into this one late, and then we have 17 who were sat in Lumberyard for the longest time, but it was the likes of BB teams and the other teams around them that just became their meat shield, allowing them to come into the late game with little to no damage being taken at all.
It was definitely looking dicey there at times.
Yes.
I mean, they were just huddled, hiding behind a rock for the longest time, just alive by the grace of the smokes.
Yeah.
But they managed to keep all 4 alive. They managed to go and take over that eastern side of the circle. And then once that was done, it was just all academic after that. As Navi, I mean, that was a really good game from them, but they were put in almost an impossible position.
I liked their play there in the end. They knew they had really no other options, and had it not been Full Sense on their left side, the one team that still had all their util available, they might have actually been able to withstand the initial barrage. But you go up against a team that's been sat on the south side for the entire game, gotten 1 or 2 kills at the distance, I believe. So, unfortunately for them, not quite the case, but for 17, incredible start of this tournament as we throw to a break before Game 2 comes around.
I'ma get.
3秒车后，3秒车后，3秒出来了，4-2，3秒盾牌，3秒盾牌，还有一个
盾牌打了，
还有一个不知道在哪儿，还有一个可能在
左边8-6，我打药，3秒盾牌一个，给他丢下，杨轩，
没闪，
来等我架
，8-6一个，我动不了了，
别动，对面还在打他去，他要送毒，上面，杨轩，
左下最后一个，8-6最后一个。
17 Gaming starts things off with a bang as they show the mastery of the grassy pastures, taking a win uncontested over from Pachinki of all places. No threats coming their way. Joining me to talk about this game, we have Avenger, we have Godspeed, we have Toffees to talk about it all. Toffees, 17 Gaming, arguably one of the most consistent teams of all time in PUBG, starts off strong.
You know, there was an argument that maybe they weren't being as serious as they could have been at PCS. You know, they got a little more money in the qualifiers. They seemed a little tired. Here, I think it's pretty obvious they came to play. And when they came in, what was it, from the east side, Godspeed, to make those moves, it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, from the northeast, it definitely was crazy to watch. I mean, that whole game was just insane. When you look at the first circle, we lost the Expendables, Sharper Esports, and Geekay immediately off that first shift to the east. So that was just absolutely wild to see. And then we also saw... Oh, hello. And then Na'Vi came in from the west, right? Which we saw them get a great position. But more importantly, Martin, you actually were the one that pointed it out. Game Start Win came all the way from the north, did a blind wrap, and got right underneath Na'Vi, which was crazy.
Yeah, especially like when you see teams leave, you're like, okay, we're backing them no matter what. Like, you're inside this next circle here, you're able to take that compound away, but you know, the compound that Na'Vi had, like, it's just such a strong one. You get so many kills from there, but them deciding to kind of insert themselves into the middle of that hamburger being the patty is, I mean, it's often you're not going to be able to get a win from that, but they're trying to maximize points. They might be able to try to push, you know, full sense away from one of the edges there, but yeah, it didn't work out.
That was a choice. That was a choice.
Sure.
But 18 points to 17 Gaming here, that's obviously huge.
Exactly, here's the match ranking, and of course, with 17 Gaming getting that many points, the interesting thing about it all is Na'Vi, who was previously the team that was challenging the Pachinki at internationals, goes away from that challenge and suddenly does well, Toffees.
It's hilarious, right? Because so 17, you're like, oh, the last event, they did pretty good. They had a great game, but also had to deal with Na'Vi the whole time. Na'Vi leaves, goes somewhere else. And even then, we saw a vast improvement at 8 over 7 because they walked away from some of those fights. Here, they're putting in some good moves. And even though they became the hamburger in that fight and got cooked right away, still, walking away with the 13 points is a huge come up for Na'Vi, a team that needs to do it.
I get what they're doing, though, right? Trying to go to the middle. They're hoping that the two teams can shoot over across one another to try and keep them safe for the moment. But anyway, we'll talk about it in a few moments' time here as we continue things for the Esports World Cup. We've got the Dr. Zulaiman Al-Habib's hot take, so let's take a look.
Welcome to Doctor's Notes, presented by Dr. Sulaiman Al-Habib, where we're going to give you some quick hot takes on what we think is going to happen. Started off with Paper. What you got for me?
I think today we're going to see one of the South American teams really perform well, either Rock or Toyo, because they played so well in the group stages at PGS. I think they have a real shot to make a splash here today.
Well, I'm going to follow that up. You're going to take Americas, so I'm going to take Korea from you. I'm going to say T1. This is going to be a great event for them. They're due for it, and they've had a massive come up lately.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as long as they can avoid some of the rotation stuff and the hot drops early, they should be good to go.
I mean, rotations, hot drops, red zones are going to be a thing now, but honestly, I don't think that that's going to be as big of a deal. Most of these teams are going to know how to play around it, so I wouldn't be too concerned. But that's our Doctor's Notes, but I'm going to prescribe for you 3 days of group stage and 2 days of grand finals. You guys have fun.
All right, more glasses for the casters teams as a whole here. My hot takes, I don't really have too many at the moment. How about yourself, Avenger?
I mean, we can just take it from this game here, right? 2 hard shifts back-to-back south. I don't want to take too much away from this game here, right? It was extremely chaotic. You see how many teams were in that kind of hillside of the prison area, right? It's just such a difficult game. When you have these 2 southern shifts, the teams that are doing wide wraps are going to get tons of points, like GameStart win, blindly wrapping in the west. Na'Vi getting, back-to-back southern shifts where they're just like, oh, we have half the circle to ourselves. We're just going to take this compound. That's going to mean things. But it's going to be extremely chaotic, these games. And this was due to the circles, but it's going to continue throughout the day for sure.
And that's a good point, because again, these teams only have 12 games. The amount of mistakes you're able to make, especially in this lobby, in order to move forward, are very minimal. And teams are going to punish you if you make any of these mistakes. You cannot afford to have more than 1, maybe 2 bad games, because the other teams are definitely going to be much more consistent.
I think you're right about the hot take on this game, right? Don't take too much out of it. Even the final circle was not a spot that we've seen excessively in recent past. Not a lot of cover, not a lot of options. Like you said, Na'Vi, there was no other choice. It was a hope they kill each other trying to kill us.
At least they still got 13 points, though. So
exactly. And I think that's my takeaway is this is one of those get what you can and hope for the best sort of games. And so don't, if you're at home right now, stress out if somebody had a bad start to this thing, because it's going to bounce back. Unless maybe it was the Falcons, because I do feel like that rotation off of their split could have gone a little better for them. They got caught, and having 2 going into that late push just wasn't going to work.
Yeah. It's tough to really kind of draw anything from one game, though, right? Especially with the shifts going this way, Avenger, and seeing how all of this goes down. At least for Full Sense, right? It's a pretty decent start to their campaign, but with them sitting in Milter and just kind of waiting there for a while, we're hoping maybe for more, all things considered.
I mean, I don't speak Thai, but I'm pretty sure the comms are going to be like, oh, the entirety of Milter is free, guys. Let's just take one house.
Yeah.
But here's my beef with Full Sense, is that they are group stage heroes. This is the sort of thing that I see from them constantly when we get to these events, is they start super strong here in the start, they catch a couple of really good games, but when we get to the finals, if they do manage to make that big 16, can they carry that momentum forward? I think for me, that's what I want to see in the first 3 games, is do they start strong, and do they look like they're making strong macro decisions the entire time?
Thoughts, Godspeed?
I mean, I feel like they salvaged that game well enough for themselves, right? They did notice that the Milta was open, but something that I'm going to notice going forward is I doubt they're going to have that much room to work with later, right? Teams are going to notice that they're trying to go for these really wide splits or take as much space as they can, which is a good thing, but generally, when you have other teams kind of going back and reviewing that, they're not going to be able to have that same space afforded.
If you can take any learnings away from our first game, Avenger, for some of these teams to apply it to our next game, what are you looking out for? Anything?
I mean, there's big things, right? The greed from Falcons to take, a prior compound in that first circle, to also take the eastern side of prison. That talks to the confidence that these guys are going to have. I'm not too worried about them, with the smaller mistakes in terms of, rotations and stuff like this. So the confidence in the teams, but then again, when you're looking at a circle like this and how it kind of works out, you're just going to have to play Smash Mouth style when you get a circle that goes away from you twice, right? And we're going to see some kind of messy fights. But it is going to be chaotic throughout, kind of what we've been seeing from, the stages throughout. It's just been the next level.
I mean, this is my takeaway. Looking at these Falcons, the takeaway that everybody else should have is All Gamers Global and Falcons went out early without a lot of points on the board.
Expendable 0 as well.
Exactly. And with 12 games to play, that is really good news for the rest of the lobby. Not for those guys, but I'm not worried about them yet. So I think that's the take, is that we saw some teams that needed to make moves, with the exception of 17, that are teams that we've been like, do they or don't they have it? They came out and showed us they had some good game sense in a game where things didn't make sense, right? Because it was a confusing, weird game. And so to see these sort of struggle rosters that have been around and sort of not finding their feet put up some good numbers, I think that's pretty exciting.
I think we saw a lot of smiles across the teams at the beginning of all of this, Godspeed, but I do believe when it comes to a group stage like this, and the fact that we have no last chance qualifier, and then even the finals is just the BO12 as it stands, I think those smiles are going to fade very quickly, because it is of utmost importance to really get on the floor running.
Exactly, and you don't have, like I was saying earlier, you don't have the opportunities to make those mistakes that you normally would in an 18-game finals or even an 18-game qualifier, depending on the group stage. But something else to note is we do have a lot of changes coming into this event specifically. True. We have the BRDM, now we have the Res Station, we have the C4, right? We've kind of seen those regionally in the Master Series, but that's a new ball game for these players. And then you also have the kill feed tracker now, which does not track reses, by the way. So that's something that these players are going to have to be very aware of.
Nothing sows chaos more than the way in which we've seen the C4 being used.
Yeah.
We've seen it over at PNC. We saw it in some of the online cups as well. We have seen absolute chaos from that.
And it's taken this mythical role as does the Panzerfaust, right? It's that thing that you all toss in the trunk because when the situation is right, you got to have it, and it has a massive impact on the game. It hasn't happened yet. We're only one game in, but it is one of those things that it's going to have an impact, and it is going to have it at the worst possible time for a team who's in the race. And I think that's fun for me, maybe not for them.
Yeah, Martin, obviously you were the coach of Denmark at PNC. Did you have any kind of C4 moments?
Yeah, there was. We were on the receiving end of the C4 shenanigans there. So yeah, I mean, I love that. You know, especially coming in with a bike being thrown into a compound that's the winning compound, and you know, you
got red zone too, right?
Yeah, red zone too. You know, two guys red zone also kind of.
Red zone. That started well.
It was a great first day, but then we got it back, and you know, the best day on the second.
It was great.
You know,
it was great to watch.
Yeah, I loved it.
The problem with C4 is there's like you said, that bike compound is a perfect example. Sometimes there really just is no counterplay.
Yeah,
there is no counterplay.
Present. Right. I agree.
I mean, the comms were like, we need to defend northern side. We only had one player, and if you're not able to shoot the players that are coming in with the bikes, then there's just it's extremely difficult to make any counterplay to it. But you know, from seeing it, I know it's exciting, but it is just extremely difficult. And you gotta, that's the biggest thing as a player you gotta take away. It's like, your bad games, you just gotta forget about them immediately and take it back and go back to the next game.
Well, of course, here are our top damage dealers from our first game. Mr. Fairest and Hakatori representing Na'Vi proud here, Toffees.
Nice to see two of them up there right now. Big scores, but again, that's because not only did they have a good spot in the middle where they were able to sort of pepper everyone who transitioned in, they did manage to put up a lot of good kills to close that out. So again, tough situation at the end, but a really good game for them. Xiao Wu, the man who helped me pick my lunch today, and a great suggestion, by the way. 17, Xiao Wu playing out of their mind in that first game. I think this is a team that has always been historically strong and has just been climbing, honestly. I think go to 7 and 8 and go to here, they seem like they are just getting better and happy to play again, maybe, which is nice.
And it also speaks to the confidence of both of those teams having the ability to take control of the position they took in the circle, right? They actually got kills off of that. They didn't just sit there. They controlled their edge and they were able to flex out and be proactive, and that's what we want to see in our teams that have those positions.
Well, let's see if they can make those adjustments. Let's get to game number 2 here of PUBG at the Esports World Cup as we head over to the commentators for another Erangel.
One more Erangel to go today before we head on over to Rondo, Takeo, and Miramar to finish things off. And it's been a flashy start, I think, for some of the teams on the top we were hoping to see or expecting to see climb back into it. Na'Vi, you said you want to see something from them. Will Poro, did they deliver?
They delivered, man. they delivered like UPS. Look, 17 also up there, 18 points off of that W. That is huge for them. But one of the things that, you know, looking down the rest of the leaderboard that I got to be excited about is there's a lot of teams that maybe we're kind of hoping to see something from, right? Like new faces that managed to collect some big points off of what was a very, very contentious northern side. I mean, you look at Rock Esports with 9 points. Toyo with 6. Full Sense, obviously they finished in third with 8, but Buriram with 8. I mean, these are teams that are going out early because of just bad circle luck there, but they're finding ways to still collect points because they know how important every single one of these points are.
For sure, and when you have games like this where, I mean, as Martin said on the district, get some really tough shifts early on. One thing is the first shift was said, you can rotate that, it's possible, but then we get hard shifts to follow immediately after. You got to make something of those games. You know, you're not going to win this game. It's going to be a tough one, but you cannot have that be a 0-point game, especially when you only have this many games to play. You got to go out and make something happen. So kind of echo you for Burr and for Rock to get off to a really solid start, despite things kind of going against them in terms of how the circles went and how cluttered it was on the eastern side of the circle. They really couldn't hope for a much better start given the situation they were in.
Absolutely. I mean, look, there's 4 teams right now that are still sitting on 0 points after one game. So that is, and then some big names down there at the bottom of the leaderboard. But that's why we play 12, right? You got plenty of time to turn things around. Hopefully this next game on Erangel will be a little bit sweeter to them, and if not, well, you got the map changes coming.
Exactly, and even more so, I mean, to continue off what we're just talking about with the likes of Rock and Burr and Full Sense, you can add to that conversation as well. some of these teams that aren't part of the usual, I'll call it not ecosystem of the top echelons of PUBG, but they don't get as many reps in as some other rosters. I know, of course, Full Sense being the former Daytrade has been represented a lot, but even then, they need to make something happen before teams figure them out. Because once the likes of Twisted Minds and whatnot get comfortable, once they read the lobby and play according to plan, you can't really go out and surprise people anymore. You can't really go out and do these sort of things. So right now is when the Wild West, with my co-caster Cowboy here, right now is when the Wild West still exists, and it's for those, I don't want to call it lesser teams, but at least less experienced teams to go out and harvest in that period before the more cerebral teams come in and take over.
Yeah, and if you're a Group B team, you obviously want to get everything done as quickly as possible, because there's nothing worse than sitting there on that last day of group play knowing that you can't do anything else. You're basically at the mercy of what Groups A and C are going to be doing, as we see a completely different plane this time around, hugging that western side, going from south to north. Maybe a little melee? Why not?
Could be.
A little spicy.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen some good melee circles. Had some in PNC as well. But yeah, I mean, lovely change of planes here, as this one is definitely not going to have, I would imagine, that many people sitting over towards Lumberyard.
Yeah.
I would be surprised. I would be surprised.
Hot takes with Toby. This is he's going out on a limb here.
I'm wild with my predictions today. Not at all gambling on both.
Fair enough.
Both colors. Yeah, exactly. I'm playing it safe.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, no.
You want to play it safe here early. Well, look at this. Shrimsy and X-Tonk.
I was gonna say, yeah, they are flying for the same vehicle, it seems. Are they splitting up now? No, they are. Okay, there might be two guns up there.
Yeah, okay. All right. So everybody should be fine.
Not down towards the south, though. You have Expendables and Burram running around the same vehicles. That's Khan and Delwyn, I believe, fighting forward. And Circle far up towards the north. That's going to be an interesting one to follow as well. Fights, though, already taking place. We're seeing here Delwyn. He might have the vehicle, but his opponents are the ones with weapons in hand, and Khan, all he has is a
he's got to get out of there.
Yep.
Great work there by Buriram to protect their man. And that is 73.57 damage that was desperately needed for Buriram here.
Is he coming back?
And another one, get him! Go ahead! Get that full 100, young man.
That's what you get for trying to take out my teammate, but the issue is Khan is still in trouble.
No.
Mutant in Duckjuice hands, finding Khan. Can they actually get him in the car? That would be insane. Pick him up, put him in, and get the hell out of that.
Look at Clory's.
Oh, he didn't get him in yet. He didn't get him in.
Oh, no. He heard Clory's coming. No. He had to get out. He had to get out. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay.
APAC on APAC action. It's written in the stars that this is how tournaments have to start.
These guys are just so bloodthirsty.
They are.
And then and there you go. Rock and BB Team getting a little bit close to each other here on Military Island. It looked like BB Team was trying to make the cross, and Solds managed to pick one out.
There was a straggler. Aduzi was rotating in, I think, like 15 seconds behind his teammates down on the southern side, and that's a big loss for BB to
what we were talking about, Aaron. Getting bloody early.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Already 3 people down with only 3 minutes in, so...
That's the thing. I mean, you like to think that whenever a map gets more and more figured out by now, I mean, these guys, they go with close sights, do rotations all across this map. You like to think that it gets more, as we talked about, more cerebral. People start planning more stuff because now they know everything. The issue is when people get too comfortable, they start experimenting. They start trying to do things differently, and that's what we're seeing here. Himas able to find one now as well. Multiple teams taking casualties in what was a somewhat straightforward plane, of course, with the northern circle to follow. I know we're a bit further west as well, but it's very rare in planes with circles to follow like this that we lose 4 players that early on.
Quizzy just barely got out of there with about 7 HP, too. Himas proving once again why he is at the top of everybody's list when it comes to fraggers in the game right now.
Taking him out as the first player of the previous game is like shaking a wasp's nest. You know he's coming back for you immediately after, and they're still fighting. Now it's actually All Gamers Global taking casualties.
Where was Haizaki?
I mean, he was rotating to the circle,
Oh,
but got caught out by Burram on rotation. So again, I like to consider this day one shenanigans. This is the kind of stuff, again, as we just talked about, the Wild West. This is where if you're good enough at sailing these very, very stormy waters of day one, you can actually collect quite a few points off of this.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why if you're any team in this lobby, you need to do some very, very good homework about where these APAC teams are going to be because they are going to put it. They're just going to take it to your jaw right off the jump.
Oh, here we get a replay of what happened early on. They both went for the same vehicle. Delvin.
Oh, he's out in the middle of nowhere here.
I mean, the fact that Khan gets to it.
I love that from Khan. He's just like, you know what? You can't get me if I run right at you. I'm not going to give you the time.
Can't really fault Delvin for trying. He's doing his very best, but Khan got the moves.
Oh, look at this. The shots from
one little tree for cover, and then you get the suppressive shots coming in from Rifts as well. Hate to see it, man. Hate to see it. A lot of teams and casualties early on. Himas finding one more now. Diffic's gone down early.
Geek and AG scrapping once again. Diffic's gone down. As Himas right on the other side of the rock here. PWD will try to throw tries to throw the flashbang, but Himas with that AK. Look at he's already at 400 damage. Give him 439 and a clean wipe onto Geek.
Himas just made the perfect play, and it's a split-second decision. He sees the flash coming, knows it's overthrown. Rather than getting flashed and waiting behind it, he insta-peeks it. Great play. He knows that he's going to catch a player with his back turned because he's trying to run off. He even hears the footsteps before the flash pops. Peeks it, gets one caught with his back turn, misses a shot or two, but gets it there in the end as well. Nice reactive play by him as showcasing once more that he's one of the best, if not the best, mechanical player in the world.
God, these guys are so good, man. They are so good, and they show us time and time again.
Oh, yes.
As AGAL will pick up another 4 points for themselves, but they've still got a long way to go to get into this next zone. Rock Esports, after stealing one away from BB Team, now making their way north, and it looks like Buriram spotted an emergency pickup, so they're going to be coming in from the far south and sending it in as we check in with game start win.
I know I've been out of the loop a bit this year, but when is the last time we've been 8 players down 6 minutes into an Rankle game? Guys, I know it's day one, but we gotta calm down.
It's hot out here in these streets, man.
I know, it's pretty wild. These guys, they're hungry. Hungry for the win, of course. 17 wanting to get back into trophy position, preferably lifting the championship trophy in this tournament, and what a better start for them. Couldn't really be a whole lot better than what they were given in game one.
Well, we couldn't, and they are not too far removed from their last international victory. As we said, they got the win in PGS7, and you could see how much it meant to those guys. And that's the thing. Once you get that taste, it is very hard to accept anything else other than a victory, because it just does not hit the same. And 17 has BB Team, our most recent, and PGS8. I don't want to say shocking, because obviously we knew these guys had it in them for a long time.
Oh, yes.
It always felt like it was just, they were one day away, one good day away from getting that big win, and they finally get it. And I thought, we saw the interview that they had with, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Barney or Bella, where he asked, I think it was Barney, he asked them, how do you keep that motivation going, right? And that's always a question that we have for these guys, is that you're fighting and fighting and fighting for this thing for so long, and then once you finally get it, and you have that sense of relief and sense of joy and accomplishment, but then, you got to turn around and find that motivation again in a couple of months. So how do you do it? And right now, BB Team, a little bit of a slow start here, and they lose one early, but 17 looks like they found that motivation pretty quickly.
Full sense. I hope you have your full senses activated, because there's a lot of guys sat here waiting for you. Venbo is going to find the first thing. Venbo, a player that might not exist in a whole lot of people's brains right now in terms of PUBG prowess, but he stood out incredibly during the Chinese qualifiers and have been playing really well in China as of late. One of the rising stars of the region, hoping to see him put spanner in the works of a lot of these global talented players.
Always good to have a new star to have on your radar. You see just how dirty MS did GK.
Incredible.
All in the pocket of that man here as the rest of Full Sense after losing Tigger will try to stop down and see, try to take the fight. I mean, this is, you were going to commit to this Western Bridge, and now you're basically saying, okay, well, change the game. How long are you willing to hold this now that the Blue Zone's arrived?
And you know what's better than APAC action is adding more APAC teams to APAC action, because all gamers global are backfilling through Gatka right now. We'll see what ends up happening with that, as
there you go.
MS will get the res up. For those of you guys saying, wait, what? Yes, that is in fact the thing now. With Himas should be able to get his teammate back in. Unluckily for him, he won't necessarily hit the circle anytime soon, but the plane is coming through. Or the helicopter, I should say. Now it's about for them to try and get over and get to where he's planning on landing, because the circle, as you can see it, is pretty occupied already.
It is indeed, and Godspeed brought up a fantastic point during the desk. Is one of the biggest things with that revive mechanic is that there is no way to track that.
Yes,
and kill feed tracking has been one of the things for the longest time that has separated the good teams from the great teams. And now it is just going to be that much more difficult not knowing if somebody is back up and rezzed, right?
No
like you could think a team is down to 2 and all of a sudden you see them in the kill feed, you push the compound and there's 4 people waiting for you. So Buriram, after running through Naya, they're going to come into the tail end of Sharper. So Sharper running with 3 once again early on here. Tough sledding to start things off for them.
Definitely. As we see the circles will start closing in just about 25 seconds time. There's still a lot of teams split on that, especially eastern side of the circle. We see Shaba with a good wide split. T1 trying to remain camouflaged inside the red zone, and then
up the spot.
Then BP team slowly filling in on the hard east. I'm a little worried for BP team, because again, a lot of their edge playing slow play style, I don't say requires, but it really benefits them having 4 alive through the early to mid game, and obviously losing a Doozy early on, that makes that play style much harder to execute, because you rely on being able to spread out, being able to play with a lot of info. But when you're 3 instead of 4 on that thin split, you lose a lot of info that otherwise would have been available for you.
Another hot take from Toby. Having 4 players alive is better than 3.
Bro, I am write a book, I'm telling you. Quotes by Toby. Freaking genius over here.
Well, we'll see how they play. They've got a lot of real estate to work with on that northeast side, so that's one good thing they've got going for them here is the Expendables trying to get everybody back together towards the center, but they're pulling right in the middle of a 2-2 split from Toyo. Toyo holding that intersection and the shooting range. That is very, very aggressive on their part. We'll see if they're able to pull it together, but it's mostly just waiting for this next zone to pop. Who's going to get lucky here?
Exactly. Their main issue right now is that Expendables is sat in between them. Yeah. So if they do try to group up, they have to go past that bunker, and I don't think that that's going to have all of them staying alive through it. Genji now getting caught by some artillery as the red zone has opted to go south. Rock is down there, SP as well, or Shaba, as they're gonna try and see if they can weave. That's Best of Luck. He's flying.
Is he flying,
he's
or is he
way up high?
Yeah, but he's flying. He's not boating.
Nah, he's way up high.
Well,
trying to scout forward for his 2 teammmates down below. Of course, as you're saying, waiting for the next circle to pop. FS as well, knowing how chaotic the early game was, having seen reses come through, knowing a lot of those teams are going to play it slow, might as well stay out here. Issue is, Winbo has gone from one flank spot to another. Almost catches Flash, and knows for now at least that he has him in a 1v1.
Yeah, he's all by himself though, man. He's got Ares. He's got Ares off in the distance. Yeah, Flash.
Or C maybe?
That is very, very close. He's got some help coming. It looks like the rest of Change the Game are starting to come over here and maybe press.
This circle is
the circle. Yeah, the circle going to go right on top of the Expendables. So Toyo's 2-2 split should be safe for the time being. We'll see. And but right now, this is the fight we got to keep an eye on. As Thanadol a little bit separated from the team. The rest of Change